So again, welcome. My name is Angela Ginyard, and I am the founder and travel advisor for the Travel Curio. I first want to thank everyone for taking the time to join this evening. And when I first thought about this webinar, it was at the end of the year, and it had a different purpose. And when I said, you know what, Angela, everybody is so busy at the end of the year, why don't we start off talking about our new year? So I would like to say what came out of that decision was to call this a new year, new journeys, and also to change the tone from it. I wanted this to be a conversation and I'm not selling anything this evening. Just want to talk about your intentions for the year around travel. And so I hope that's okay with everyone. I wanted to do something different. We're sold to every day. So I wanted to just fill everybody out and let's just talk about travel and see where our comfort zone lie for 2026 and beyond for travel. So glad you're here. And again, we're not even going to talk about itineraries. Now, if you ask me about an itinerary, certainly we will. But for the most part, we are just going to talk about your intentions. And I think someone else is trying to get into this meeting. So let me send this to her really quickly because my phone is going, I mean, my arm is going off. So bear with me. All right. All right. Okay. So I want to start out and also say to you, if you feel comfortable, feel free to put on your screen. But if you don't feel comfortable, that's quite okay. If you feel comfortable with having engaging in the dialogue, please do. Again, it's a conversation. But if not, you can definitely place it in the chat because I'm going to ask a couple of questions. I'm curious about some things thus the name, the Travel Curio. I have an accountability group that I meet with every weekend, and I'm always going to ask a question because I'm so curious, but that's the Travel Curio. So, the first thing I'm going to ask you to do is drop one word in the chat that describes how you have stepped into or how you're stepping into 2026. And I said it correctly that you've already stepped into or how you're stepping in because you might be thinking about it. But drop your one word. I'm curious. I don't see any words. Y'all thinking about them?
Angela,
Mm-hmm.
repeat that, please. My phone rang.
Sure. My question to you was drop one word into the chat about how you're either stepping into or you've already stepped into 2026. Ooh, I like these words. Ooh, intentional, excitement, purpose, intention. I love it. And intentional is woven is one of the themes that's woven into this presentation. Goal oriented. I know this person. Yes. Positive. I like that one too. I love it. And for me, um, professionally, because I have to, let me say personally, I'm manifesting. I thought it was abundance, but I'm manifesting. And even with the word abundance, it was a little bit different. It wasn't so much about what I can grab financially. It was more about just living more abundantly, living more it sums up so many of these words. Um, but my big word professionally is expansion. And I can pour that over into my personal life, but expansion. And tonight is one of those reminders for me of expansion because I don't want to be known just for someone who is selling group trips. And anybody that know me said, I say I don't sell group trips. I sell experiences. But I also want to build a community, a tribe, to have camaraderie in what I say and what I do, and what we say and what we do, and how we engage with our experiences. So that is how we're starting out. I hope that you like these words. You can see in the chat what other individuals' words, and I love them because all of them are so positive. So I said this was thematic. We are going to set an intention, and I'm going to share my screen. Can you see that?
Yes.
Good. We're going to set our intentions. Go over here. And I've already talked about this as a conversation. So we're going to set our intentions. And so why does this matter? Because travel is not just about where we go. And I think I know most individuals on or have met. I think there's one person I'm not familiar with. But I do know the demographic in which I typically grab, and even with the age. And so we might still like to have a great time and whoop it up and party, but I think we need to talk about what are our intentions and what we do and how we travel. And so, are we traveling slow? Are we traveling with intention? Are we traveling with purpose? And so I'm sitting here and I'm thinking about, and again, I'm intentional that this is a conversation. When you think about travel, it's not just about where you're going. It's about how you show up where you are and how you feel when you travel. So, for instance, and honestly, for me, guys, I don't think I ever just traveled just because I just wanted to do that. Maybe when the kids were smaller and, all those Disney moments that we did when they were smaller, it was about, oh, let's celebrate them. But I still love Disney. I was just there a couple of weeks ago. But I feel that it's different. Like when I was younger, it was about showing my children this wonderful place on earth, even though I was just as excited. Princess and the Frog came out. When Tiana walked out in that dress, I was just like stoked. I was so excited. But everything is about intentional. So just let me know, how do you want to show up? You can put it in the chat or you can come off. I'm open to it. So how do you want to show up in your travels? Y'all didn't know I was going to make this conversation. Huh? Nobody? Oh boy, that's not good. Well,
Want to
I,
show up in a way that shows um, that the trip and the experience has been tailored for me. And I'll explain
mm,
that by saying that I took a trip, but because an experienced travel curio representative planned the trip in full
mm,
for some of the parties, but I chose to plan part of the trip myself. And
mm.
so, although we went on the same trip, because I had planned part of the trip myself, I did
Mm.
not get the full professional concierge service that I see now I could have received. So, when I show up, I want to show up having the full pampered, if you will, experience.
I got an ink pen. I'm going to write that down. Because what I heard was, I'm gonna transcribe that it was a group of individuals that traveled together, and you travel with this group. You had an awareness of the Travel Curio. Some people utilize the full services of the Travel Curio. And I think I know who this is, and that you're like me. You wanted to dive deeper into that planning and some of those things you plan yourself. And then you said, you know what? If I had just allowed the Travel Curio to plan it, it could have been a different experience. Is that what I'm hearing? Or an enhanced experience?
Correct.
That's like getting flowers. Very appreciative of that. And the reason why I'm appreciative of this is that for most of us, we have grown up where we people utilize travel agents when they were, when you're younger or years ago. And now some people question the purpose of having a travel agent or a travel advisor. And we have all these online booking platforms. But even for me, I've learned, even before I started my business and my boutique business, that there is a different experience from time to time when you book through these online booking platforms versus what you can experience with a travel agent or a travel advisor. Like sometimes they know something that's a little bit different, or is a secret. Like for me, my epiphany was visiting a resort in Mexico and not paying attention to the bands that were on individual arms until someone told me what my band meant as it related to the other bands. So lucky for me, we chose an elevated package that I wasn't aware was much more elevated than others. But it did really it was helpful to me because there are some services that we ended up needing in which having the concierge service helped. Now, at that point, I used a travel advisor to plan that trip for us. So she saw something that I would not have thought of had I just went online and picked it from an online booking engine myself. So, yes, I appreciate that. Thank you. Anybody else? I'm checking the chat. All right. So, and that's okay. I mean, I think we got some shy people, but some of y'all I know on here are not so shy. So hopefully in a little bit you'll be ready to chime in and talk. So my next question to you, or let's just reflect for a little bit. What kind of journeys are you craving this year? What does your vision board look like? Does it look like what you see here on the screen? Or is it something else? Is it domestic? Is it
It's not
international?
international.
Yeah. So what does it look like? I'm going to ask her, you know what? I'd make it even better. I just threw up a poll. Let's start here. Drop one word that describes, we've already did that. So let's do this one. What kind of journey are you craving for this year? Is it rest and relaxation? That's number one. Exploration and cultural immersion? Just drop it in the chat. We're not going to do the actual poll. Connection and community, or something else? Let me see. Somebody said domestic, no flights. Okay. Education and sightseeing. Wellness and beaches. I love that. Sun, sand, and water. That's two for that water. Exploration. Excitement and sightseeing. I love that. A little bit of both. A little bit of culture, what I'm hearing from that person, or I see a little bit of culture and a little bit of fun. And so, I like that. I really want the person who don't want the flight to kind of weigh in and tell me exactly where they want to go. So that sounds like more trips within a couple of hours of home, perhaps, or train, or traveling by train. Let's see. Ooh, somebody put something else. Food and wine. Oh, yeah, I like that. So a culinary journey. Mm. So this is actually what I'm craving this year. And when I say this, this is not anything that's on the Travel Curios agenda. Yaya said a train would be nice. Hadn't thought of that. Yeah, sometimes we sleep on Amtrak, but Amtrak still can get us some places that we haven't thought of going. Like I'm here in Atlanta, Georgia, and I keep saying that one weekend I'm just going to hop on the train and go over to Birmingham instead of driving over to Birmingham and really take the time to explore it as a city. And maybe an overnight, really got to be an overnight, but just going and have a culture like we don't think about those short trips in which we can do a quick turnaround. A lot of time people don't think about that. Doing something that's a day trip or an overnight trip. Okay, thank you, Miss Lydia. It's recorded so I can send it to you.
Okay, and call me when you get ready to get on the train to Birmingham. I'm in.
You'll go with me.
Yeah,
Okay, I
I'm
love
good.
it. Thank you so much.
Thank you. I'm sorry I have to
Okay,
leave.
that's but I appreciate you coming in. But I'll make sure this is shared with you. Okay.
Okay, thank you.
All right. Awesome.
Bye.
So yeah, you struck something in us, and you said you're in Birmingham. Okay. And so yeah, just to come over, we can visit, do like a civil rights tour, have lunch, spend the night, and come back. You know, people don't think about depending on where you are, and especially if you're near a major airport, usually an international hub. Like another thing that I would like to do domestically is just hop on the plane early in the morning, go to New York City, and come back either that night or a quick overnight and return. Like those are domestic journeys that we're so busy trying to plan it out and think about it. Just show up and be free. I think that's where sometimes we forget about doing things like just showing up and enjoying life. So usually for journeys like that, yeah, I love New York too. I 100% say no selling, but one of my favorite things to do is New York at Christmas time. I love the lights and the sights. I love the windows. Like if you've never been to New York during Christmas time, I think I have a New Yorker on here. But the windows are just absolutely phenomenal. And so, yeah, we never think about those things. And so there go my New Yorker. Yeah, I knew they would show up. And so we never think about those things that we don't have to make it difficult. We can really just freestyle it. Another thing to go to New York, I said Christmas, but like just go up, have lunch, see a play. You can catch the matinee and come back. We don't always have to make it huge and big. Wouldn't it be nice just to show, okay, Yaya, you told me we're gonna take the train, we're gonna drive. But to show up at the airport, just kind of glide through the security checkpoint with just your purse, maybe take an overnight bag just in case something happened, like a little backpack, pack the essentials and just show up and come back. Wouldn't that be neat? Wouldn't that be cool? Isn't that something to put on your vision board? Yeah. So I actually have on my vision board, I, even though I know this might not be the right time to say this tonight, but I actually have been eyeing a ticket to Kenya. I just want to go. I just want to show up. I've also been curious about the Philippines. I don't know why. I just want to show up. And one of the places that I would like to go to, and I hit it, but it's up here. Um, I would like to go to do a Christmas market. I love Christmas, y'all, but Christmas market in Europe. And I'm trying to prioritize where because there's so many that you can go to. But I'm thinking maybe Austria or Germany. But no, I'm a holiday girl. I love the holidays. Now this holiday was a little different for me. Most of you know why. But I love the holiday season. And then the last place is actually closer, but I have to sit still just for a moment. Is that I would like to visit Cartagena, Colombia. And just because I want to explore the Afro-Colombian history, right? We're present there. And so I do enjoy those locations that make either I see myself or that people see me. Anybody want to weigh in on that, their vision board? Because I've been going now. Yaya told us hers. Anybody else? No? So I did a little bit of domestic, a little bit of international, a lot of international, but a little bit of domestic. And the reason why I have a lot of international is because I do have some bucket list destinations on my personal list. And those were the ones I shared. Ooh, Greece. Yes. Greece as in land or Greece as in cruising or a little bit of both? Both. Like it. Yeah. You definitely, and Greece really sets the stage for that, in that you can have land excursions and do a little bit of cruising as well. And so I know that there are a couple of lines like MSC Cruises, Virgin Voyages also have a couple of Mediterranean cruises. And if for folks who may not be familiar with Virgin Voyages, they're relatively a newcomer into the industry, and their focus is their adult only, and so no kids. Now, for people who got young kids, that's great. We still can find you places, but there's no kids. And so I am looking forward to embarking on a Virgin voyage this year as well. That's on my goal list. Now, can I ask you another question? What is your travel no for 2026? Like, what do you like? I am not doing it. Ooh, someone said, oh, excellent cruise line, Virgin Voyage. Yeah, yeah, they're a newcomer and they're doing it. They're new and they're doing it in a different way. And I'm thinking it's taking some time for them to grow on some people, but they are growing. But let me ask you a question. What's your travel no for 2026? Like, what you not gonna do? I'm just not gonna do it. I'm not doing it anymore. Trying to see nobody. Somebody said drive to New York. It's an adventure. I've taken that trip a lot too. New Jersey Turnpike, you'd be so happy to see it if you're driving from the south, and you're just so happy to see the New Jersey Turnpike. No fun. Yeah, absolutely. No, no, absolute no. One of mine is y'all rushing through the airport. I'm not doing it anymore. I'm just not doing it. I'm okay. I'm comfortable with getting there. We know, depending on the size of your airport, if it's a domestic trip, you need to be there at least 2 hours in advance. If it's an international, 3 hours. But guess what? I'm showing up. I'm showing up 2.5 hours, 3 hours. That's what I'm doing. That's a non-negotiable for me now. I'm showing up. The challenge sometimes is sometimes with the three. Ooh, I'm gonna talk about that. The three is it's just not. It's just not. It's just you get there, it's chaos sometimes. By now people still upset with TSA, but TSA is our life. TSA, I don't see it going anywhere unless we become high tech, right? And be able to get beyond going through a security screen that we could just walk through and it pick up everything. And that is, some countries have that kind of technology. We don't, but some do. But I just want to go. I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go, and I'm gonna eat. I do have lounge access that we can talk about that. Lounge access is accessible. Most people don't think about it, but it is. But I'm just go and just sit and chill and just wait because I don't want to be rushed. I know. Now, I saw somebody said overpacking a suitcase, and somebody else co-signed that. Absolutely. Honestly, overpacking. Ooh. And I'm an overpacker. So learning how to scale back has become a critical part of my travel. Like I am an overpacker. Now, when I have curated experiences, it's a little bit different. I'm always going to have two bags because I have a little bit of everything for my travelers. I'm giving something, I'm thinking about it. On our last experience to Thailand, we just happened to go during a time where the Queen Mother had passed away. I had 15 scarves in my suitcase, black scarves, just in case we needed them to cover them. I had raincoats, I had medicine. So that's a working bag. But I'm learning how to scale back. Sometimes we need to learn how to color coordinate, right? And maybe not take six pair of shoes, but maybe two or three pair of shoes. Maybe two, because the third pair should be on your feet, right? Also, depending on where you're going, consider having laundry done. I don't know how long you're there, but consider having your laundry done. In some countries, it's not as expensive as it is domestically here in the United States, or just put it in part of your bill. Like if it's going to be cheaper than an extra piece of luggage, then you might want to consider it. And so also, when you're maneuvering, especially if you're maneuvering in a city or a state or a country that you're not familiar with, um, you may not want to have all that luggage because you trying to figure out where you're going and how to coordinate. You may only want to have your large check bag and a carry-on or a backpack in your large check bag, because I can tell you this, and I don't know how much people travel abroad that's on here, but also domestic. It just make a different kind of experience when you pack in lighter, whether it's in the United States or here. And yeah, yes, you're absolutely right. The rooms in New York City are tiny. The rooms in Europe are tiny and tiny. You don't even have a place to put your suitcase. So you try to figure out where to put these bags at. Like now I'm the queen of pushing bags up in different places, but yeah, you have to take those aspects into consideration. And so for those of you who like group journeys, maybe that's one thing, whomever you're having your journey with, that you have that discussion about the baggage. I do see some of my colleagues in the industry, and I'm thinking about it as well, where more and more of our tour operators and providers are saying to us that, hey, one check bag and one carry on. That's whether that trip is 5 days or 10 days. Now, for me, if it's 15 days, we're going to have to talk about that. We're going to have to negotiate. But a lot of them are moving to one check bag, one carry on for a multitude of reasons. And that's difficult when you primarily traveling with women sometimes. It's quite challenging, right? But I understand the reasons for it. Only in the US, we got all these big vehicles that are abundant. And then also when you're maneuvering through certain cities, it's difficult. Like Also, cobblestones. Like someone said they wanted to go to Greece. Can you imagine being somewhere with the cobblestones and you already trying to keep yourself cute and steady? Um, it doesn't work. I know some people want to go to Zanzibar. Some people want to go to Morocco. And you might be close to the Medina. So there are wine streets, or even in Europe, a lot of places there could be like when I was in Italy, there are a lot of little wine streets. What you see is the reality. And so trying to maneuver with a handful of bags is not good. It's not cool. Right. So yeah, I love that. Yeah, I love that. Putting that in the chat. Yeah, overpacking. In Spain, we could not get all our luggage into yes, because the cars are smaller. They are much smaller. Yes, that's true. Yeah. My last trip, I think someone on here is who was with us, they sent a whole nother vehicle and we still filled that up. And I just couldn't figure out to be shame or like, wow. But yeah. So that's something to be mindful of when you're traveling overall, whether it's in the United States or abroad, is where are you going? There's some truth to that song, Pack Light, right? In a different way. Sometimes pack light. Because a lot of times, let's be truthful and let's be real. Let me lean in when I say that. But some of us, we get there and we buy more stuff. Then we really in the bind trying to get them 50 pounds together to get back home, right? Yeah. So remember that when you're on out there exploring that you just want to move slower and softer. And that's the way to do it. You got to be a little bit more intentional about it. So I just want to kind of bridge the conversation a little bit in saying that what I'm noticing as in the field and as a travel advisor, and I think I'm going to scroll over to my next slide. I like my slides, so I'm going to slide over to. So we talked about what your no's are. Let's also talk about what is it that you want the most. I put here four things for you to consider, and you some of you have already talked about it. But for me, I want more rest when I go. Now I'm a see, I want to do. I want to see everything I can see. I want to see all the culture, but I also want to build in some rest into my time. Maybe a little bit of healing, maybe a nice massage. Like I've been to Thailand 3 years in a row. Can y'all believe I never had a massage? See, but I'm not going back without one. When I go back, I'm gonna try not to go in 2026. But when I go back, I'm getting a massage. I want the experience. But I always wanted to explore. And my last thing that's so important, and I think this is important for me personally as well as professionally. I want the connection, the camaraderie. After I go and explore during the day, I just want to be short of turning up at night. Maybe a little turn up, but just short of turning up at night. I want to sit back with a nice cocktail, some nice conversation. I want to dress up. I want to be cute. Okay. I'm gonna probably pack those heels that I'm not gonna end up wearing as well. How about y'all? Come on, y'all. Come with me, have a conversation. Let's talk about it. What is it that you want to do? How do you want to show up? How do you want to travel? I want to think about places where culture and beauty and breathing coexist. Does that sound good to anybody? Just say yes or no. Drop that in the chat for me. Yeah, yeah, yes. At this stage, that's what I want. I want it all. I want the culture, the beauty, the breathing. I want it to coexist. And so for me, what that means is I want to invite places that bring balance and meaning, right? It has to be meaningful. We can buy all the things that we want, right? For the most part, we can, well, that we need and maybe that we want. Um, I just want to be at this space where I want to have more experiences than I want to have things. Does that sound good to anybody? Tell me if you want more experiences or things. I like somebody said sound good. Experiences. Ditto. Yes, absolutely. I do. That's what I want. Experiences over things. And honestly, getting to that is part of a mindset, right? Get into that, especially, I mean, we are a capitalistic society. We're huge consumers. Women are consumers. As a woman of color, I know, yes, I know we are consumers, yet I'm changing my focus on what I'm consuming. And it's the experiences. I spoke to another accountability. We call each other accountability partners, because even in this field, we talk to people who do what we do so we can do it better, or we can bounce ideas. And I said to her, "Y'all ready for this? My kids are grown." And I said to her, "Ooh, Illumination Nights at the Atlanta Zoo is ending next week. I think I'm gonna go to the zoo this weekend on Saturday." And to my surprise, her kids are grown too. And she said, "You know what? Let me know. We'll go." Because to me, y'all, that's an experience. That's a thing. That's an experience over a thing. No, this year I ended up just getting a membership to the botanical gardens. Yeah, yeah, you're in Birmingham. This is for you. Just getting, you know how many times in our own city we overlook things that are there that can bring us so much joy. Some people call that a staycation, right? Well, like this past year, I purchased a membership to the Atlanta Botanical Gardens, and I just go throughout the season just to walk. And I said, and I put this as a post, I'm not a huge poster. Professionally, I am, but personally, I just let I said, I just let myself outside to breathe and just be. Yes, yes. Yeah, you raised your hand. Yes, ma'am.
I did. I did raise my hand. Hello, Angela. It's nice to meet you. I am friends with Andrea. Mercer is my good friend, and she invited me, and I'm so glad that she did invited me to join tonight. I do live here. I live right outside of Birmingham, but if you say it's like living in Atlanta.
Mhm.
Everybody lives in Atlanta, but you actually live somewhere outside of Atlanta. And
Uh-huh.
Birmingham, Alabama altogether is a beautiful state. It is a beautiful place to visit. We actually were at the lake in North Alabama up in Madison County, which is close to
Mhm.
Huntsville. We were there
Mhm.
for New Year's Eve, and through the New Year's Day out of Alabama State Park, and it's just beautiful there. It's lake called Lake Guntersville, just in case anyone is interested. But
Uh-huh.
I raised my hand to say that you have prompted a lot of thoughts, things that I had never thought about in your questions and in this presentation tonight. And so I am just so glad and so thankful that I did have a chance to join, because um, traveling abroad is something that I guess I would be interested in, but I just never really thought about it like I'm thinking about it now. When you said you've been to Thailand 3 times, I'm like, oh my gosh, what's in Thailand? And I'm
Uh-huh.
sure there's something that's interesting there, but it was never a thought. And I'm like, oh, maybe I should put Thailand on the map. But one other thing I would want to say, I am working on my vision board, and traveling more or to get out and to see more this year is on my vision board. Of course, I said
Hmm.
domestically, because I'm just not ready to fly in this climate. There's the
Hmm.
reason why I said domestic, because I still want to
Hmm.
have vacations, nice vacations, but America's a beautiful place as well,
It
to
is.
venture out there. And there are a lot of states and a lot of cities and places that I haven't been, and I believe every place probably has those little secret gems, just like
Hmm.
Birmingham does. They have those little secret gems, and it's not all connected to the civil rights. The zoo is not so good, but the botanical gardens. I live here. I don't ever get a chance to go to the botanical gardens to experience that. And it's a beautiful place. I've been there before. It's a beautiful place. I lived in Atlanta. Well, I lived in Georgia, and I've only been to Stone Mountain twice, I believe. And one of my takeaway from that is people come from all over the world and visit Stone Mountain. And I lived right there in Georgia for years and never got a chance to really explore or to see Stone Mountain. Like people come from out of states and stuff just to go to Stone Mountain. So I do agree
Hmm.
with you. Locally, there probably are some nice gems that are hidden right among us that we should and could get into as well. I agree with you on that. I don't
Absolutely.
how
Thank
because I don't
you.
want to take up your
I
whole
love
time.
it. Yeah, so no, you're fine. And if you don't mind, I'm gonna walk through some of the things I heard you say, Shell, if you're okay. Let me
Sure.
start with Alabama.
Yes.
One of the things I love to do, and I'm mad at myself because I didn't make hotel reservations in enough time. I like to go to Mardi Gras in Mobile because that is,
Absolutely.
y'all say that's the originators of
It is. It
yeah,
is. That's
that's the
true.
home of Mardi Gras, right? And it,
That's
but
true.
it's so family focused.
Hmm.
I have a friend that's very involved with the Macama Ball. And for folks that don't, y'all probably more familiar with hearing about the Zulu Ball and whatnot, the ones in New Orleans. But I go to this ball. It's spearheaded by African Americans. And the first time I went, it was like, oh my goodness. And I mean, it's thousands of people who are dressed up so nicely. And I think they range in age from 18 to 90, right? And I've wanted to go and I really wanted to go this year because it's over my birthday and I didn't reserve a room, but I'm gonna keep trying to see if I can get one. But that is a fantastic event. I've thought about trying to do a group trip, but I will have to reach out to them to see if I could get a whole table, not for this year, but maybe next year, because that is a wonderful experience. And y'all, they have headliners. Unfortunately, for those of you who know Angie Stone, and I know this because I was supposed to be there, but end up having to work my day job. But like Angie Stone performed that was her last performance was at this ball. And so I've seen every year they have like an opening band, a star headliner, and a DJ. It's just phenomenal. It's a great experience. And so I have been when like Johnny Gill performed. I've been when an artist named Stokely performed. So when everybody want to shift to New Orleans, that's huge and chaotic. It's like Mobile is this wonderful experience. That's number one. Number two, you asked me why Thailand. Can I put some? I don't know if she'll chime in. I do know that one of our people on here tonight, I can answer that question, but I would like to, if the person who traveled with us in November, if she would come on and just say, don't have to come on screen, but if you want to chime in and say it, if you don't want to, just put in the chat, say, no, Angela, I don't want to do that. But say what did you experience about Thailand? And if I'm not mistaken, that was your first huge trip abroad. You had been in the Caribbean, but not abroad. Don't want to chime in? Oh, there she go. It's you, Miss Mary. We can't hear you. But I do see you brought your mic, you turned your mic on. So maybe there's something technical. I'll chime in until if she decides to say something. So, Miss Yaya, the reason why I personally like Thailand is that first of all, it's a beautiful country and it's an accessible country that you can really see from top to bottom in however you want to travel. But usually for I've been there where I did 3 days in Bangkok, 3 days in Chiang Mai, 3 days in Phuket. The last two times I've gone, I've done four, and I'm saying days but nights, 4 nights in Chiang Mai, I mean 4 nights in Phuket and 4 nights in Bangkok. I personally like it because culturally people are nice. Culturally, I am not judged. Culturally, once you get there, it's very affordable. Um, my only microaggression, so I am 5'9" in a nice voluptuous size. So the only microaggression I've ever received in the times that I have gone has been the fact that someone, if I walk into like a store and they say, "Oh, I don't have anything for you," they're politely telling me this now that they don't have anything for me to wear. And I politely say, "But I'm not in here for me." But that's about it. I don't, from ties, I don't have they don't have a problem with my skin tone. Now, some ties might want to take the picture with you. And however you feel about that. Some days I'm good. If I'm too tired, I'm not good. But I even have a methodology of how I handle that, especially like when you go to maybe certain temples, especially in the north, somebody may have never seen a you. So that is something that you have to kind of say if you're here for the culture works both ways. For me, usually if somebody want to take a picture, I put my phone up and I'm like, come on, let's take this selfie. If you're taking a selfie, I'm taking a selfie too. So, and then again, the food is great, the culture is great. And there is a phenomenon recently too, where people are moving there because the cost of living is much more affordable, but it's about the lifestyle as well. Um, that it just brings for me, I feel joyful and I feel happy when I'm there. So that's number two. Then I heard you say, and this is a topic I wanted to put in, but I kind of took out, but I'm gonna put it back in. You talked about flying in this climate. And when we talk about what does that mean and digging a little bit deeper, is it safety that you're concerned about? Is the just the act of flying? What does it do to you? Because I've had clients who've traveled with me abroad before who may have anxiety. And so what I commit to with my clients is let's talk through it. And so if it's something that you would like to put on your vision board, whether it's for this year or next year, my phone number, in fact, I'll put it in chat for you. You can call me anytime. Let's talk through it. That's my phone number. To talk, so we can talk about it. We don't have to talk about it here, your why. But safety is a huge factor. And when I choose where we're going, I consider safety. I consider the airports that we're connecting into if it's abroad. And let me just also, you asked me about Thailand. Do you know I feel safer there than I feel here? 11 million people live in Bangkok. I feel safer there than I do here. Now, Mary didn't come off, but if she would put in the chat just how she felt, I'd be most appreciative. But that's how I felt. We had two incidents where somebody left their shopping bag outside of a mall in a stationary vehicle that wasn't moving. We were taking pictures. 30 minutes later, they realized that they didn't have it. Now, mind you, it is over the weekend and it's like hordes of people out there shopping. Do you know that her bag was there when she went back? And I told her, I said, oh, more likely it's still there. And then my own husband, we were coming back from a mall. He left his phone in a vehicle, a tuk-tuk. And I called it. A woman called me back. She could barely, of course, she speaks Thai. She could barely understand. What I got out of her is that she worked at a massage place, took it over to the concierge. He did a little bit of translating. He did not know exactly. He just knew the street she was on. Midnight. She was standing out on the street waiting for my husband. He got his phone back. So that's something that we probably 9 times out of 10 would not encounter here. I put money on that one. Oh, she said she experienced an audio. She said, my Thailand experience was wonderful. Each day was a new and very positive adventure. Thank you for that. I appreciate that. So we've come into I'm almost would have been in my hour if I hadn't had my own difficulties. So I just want to talk about like what's ahead. What is ahead for the Travel Curio? I want to have more conversations like this. I want to dig deep into what is it that you're looking for? Is it domestic? Is it international? What kind of experiences do you want to have? I want to build a travel community. I want us to be in community. I would love if the next conversation that everybody who's on here show up and bring someone. Special shout out to Andrea for contacting Miss Yaya and Miss Lydia and bringing them into this meeting. I'm grateful because that's what I want to do. I want to put us at ease about travel. I took my last group through a country that we are not familiar with. A lot of people were not familiar with Qatar. We say Qatar, but the proper word is Qatar. And that airport is the best airport ever, but safety, I talked about what people would experience when they got there. And that's a lot about who I would like, what the Travel Curio brand is about. It's not just about sending you on a trip, because now if you just want to go on a trip, you can go. But we want to talk about what you're going to experience, what it's all about. For any of our curated experiences, we try to send out at least a communication once a month when we get closer to the travel date. We will have more conversations. But I always make us available to talk it through. So, but we want to have more conversations. I just want to have more conversations because I don't want to be the only one like, oh my goodness, I want to go. I want to hear what people want to go. And so for the Travel Curio brand this year, we are looking towards more domestic experiences as well, because we realize that our current climate has made people uncomfortable. And see, my background is very liberal arts, political science, and immigration. So I'm very much affected, right, by some of what we're experiencing without calling what we are experiencing, right? And I always like to say, one of the things about if you are, this is my only political, I am not going to even start a political, this is a civics lesson. Miss Raina, I'm okay, she raised her hand. I'm gonna make this comment and then we're gonna talk, Miss Raina. This is a civics lesson about being a U.S. citizen and your right to come back into the United States of America. That's your right to come back in the United States of America. Can't nobody tell you you can't come into the United States of America with your U.S. passport. Now, if you have done something, you might be leaving the airport in a special way. You might be going, like I always say here in Atlanta, I like to say Maynard Holbrook Jackson International Airport. If you do something, bring back something illegal or something, some questions will be asked, right? And you might have to leave in these, or they might put them behind your back. You might have to. but you are still back in the United States of America. And I stand on that. I want folks to stop telling people that they citizens and they can't get back in their own country. And I'll take it there because I also feel some kind of way about who definitely have a right to be here. So I'm gonna stop there before I say too much. Ms. Raina, hey, I saw you raise your hand.
Good evening. I just wanted to say kudos to the Travel Curio. I uh, arranged a trip to Dubai in 2024 for my husband that Angela and her agency put together for us. And when I tell you she was hands-on up front, I mean, she wasn't with me, but I think at some point I kept saying, okay, is she with me? Is she gonna pop out, pop out with one of these little booths here? But she really was hands-on, and she made my experience so much more comfortable. I had never been to that part of the world before, and just what to expect, the things that how I should dress. I mean, you can go online and you can read a lot of that, but it's nothing like someone telling you this is what you should do. This is what you should consider taking and bringing. And I just want to say kudos. My husband and I had a wonderful time, and we were there for 8 days, was it 8 or 9 days, and it really was an interesting experience. I probably would never go back to Dubai, but that's me personally. Overall, the
Mhm.
trip really was a good trip, and I'm very thankful to the Travel Curio for that.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
I appreciate that. And I'm going to overshare. And this goes back to sometimes having a travel agent and what that means to you as well. So, if I may, on your return, your flight, you had a problem with your flight and it was delayed. And she, she booked her flight herself. Um, but I got a call in the middle of the day, and I knew that she was on her way back. And I got a call, and in my mind, I was like, she should be in the air. So middle of the day, and I picked up my phone and I was like, "Hey, is this emergency or can I call you back?" Right? And we
Right.
talked through what she needed to ask the airline for because of the delay that happened. And I was, that's the person I want to be. No, we can't always fix it, but we want to at least give advice on it to put your mind at ease, especially because if it's definitely a country that you've never been to, same thing can
Right.
be said about states. Because I know when I went to, well, I won't name the state, but 2 years ago, I had to go to a state that I had never been to. And it took me out of my comfort zone a little bit, but I make myself comfortable in wherever I go. But it took me out my comfort zone a little bit, and I had to do a little bit of an adjustment because I think I do have a goal in some states I don't want to see, but I'm going to go just because I have about 13 more to go. Think about 13, 14. So, yeah, I love to be curious about things. Well, we're coming up on an hour. And I just want to thank everybody. So that's kind of the tone for the conversations. Now, there will be conversations that I have that are more direct about the experiences we have forthcoming. But this one is more conversational. I want to leave time for Q&A just in case you do have a specific question about something you're thinking about, there's something you want to go, a place that you have on your radar and have questions about. So I do want to stay online for that reason. I have my contact information here, thetravelcurio.com. If you currently don't follow us on my community is in Facebook. Um, I want to see Miss Raina raise her hand. My community, I'm gonna stop sharing for a second. My community is in Facebook, but my larger community is in email. So if I don't have your email address, I would love for you to join our email list. It's a little bit of travel inspiration, a little bit of travel conversation, destination dreaming, and then specifically trips that we're considering for well, we've planned our 2026 and we've also dropped some of our 2027. And but we're still planning in 2027. We have this year a little bit of definitely international and domestic one that I'm going to have a great time with. I kind of talked about that location earlier that I quite enjoy. And I think one person said that they wanted some food and wine. That place that we're going to domestically is food and wine. So, but I want Miss Raina raised her hand. Yes, ma'am.
Question. I just
Yes.
heard this, and perhaps you can confirm it. Starting
Mhm.
February 1, that TSA will be charging a fee when you don't have a confirmed ID. I just heard
Yes.
that. Is that accurate?
I've heard that as well. I think that is going to be the case. I've seen it on some blogs. I'm just waiting for the official memo to reach me. I do see that coming. I can't put money on that, but I see that coming because the reality about the real ID is that there are some states that give it, and I think Alabama is one of those states that give you an option of what kind of state ID or driver's license that you have. So in Georgia, of course, we have to have the real ID. And I know personally and professionally that the real ID has the struggle for the for people to conform to it, for states to conform with it, has been delayed over and over again. It was over a 10-year pitch for it. And so now we're here and you're finding out people still don't have a real ID, right? So I guess TSA has just said they're going to make some money off of it. I don't know why people don't have real IDs. I have no idea. I always try to wrap my mind around it. You know, I understand why my grandma, my great grandma might not have had a birth certificate. I too was born at home. And so I understand that, but besides for the economic cost. Now, one thing I noticed is that these real IDs have drove up the price of driver's licenses in states like Georgia and some other states. But to your comment, Raina, yes, I do believe that's going to be the case. And for the Travel Curio, if that is the case, we will be putting it on our blog and also sending it out on our email list.
Thank
Any
you.
questions? Mhm. That was a good one. Thank you for that one. 'Cause that's real. Yeah. Who are my cruisers in the group? I know, Miss Raina, you just got back from one. Anybody looking forward to a cruise in 2026? Nobody? I was trying to. Oh, okay. Yeah, y'all call me. I haven't been on a cruise. I'm ashamed to say it. Um, I haven't been on a cruise in a very long time. I need to I need to get on one. I need to get back on one. I want to go on Virgin. Absolutely. That's where I want to go first. And then get back on Royal Caribbean. But it's been a long, long time. Well, before the me save, somebody just sent me some information. Let me save that. I'm stopping to share. Oops, cancel. All right. Well, I want to thank you all for joining us. I know this was a little bit probably not what you were expecting. And that's what I loved about it. It's probably something that you were not expecting. And I just want to invite you all to continue. For those of you who have questions, you have my number. I'm always going to be there. I know that my focus has been definitely on the international space. Um, but I'm here for the domestic trips as well. I'm here for the FITs as well. What I mean by that is like how Miss Raina said that she went to Dubai. That was a private trip that I arranged for her and her husband. So I'm leaning heavily into that space. And you have my contact information. If you don't, I gave you my phone number. Just give me a call. And next time, invite a friend. Let's have a good time. I want y'all to be more energized next time. Let's so we could talk about it and look for another conversation coming soon. Might not do one in February, but definitely by March. We'll see. I don't know. I might pop up in February, but I'll let you know. So thank you all. I want you all to have a beautiful night. Thank you for those of you who have traveled with us and trusted us. And I hope that if you haven't, that you will consider joining us for the future, whether it's a domestic trip, a road trip, a trip in the United States, a cruise. Listen, we can get you there by plane, train, and automobile. How about that? So thank you again. Have a wonderful night. And I know sometimes it's not appropriate to say, but I'm good. Be blessed. And let's live a life of abundance and intention and curiosity for 2026. New year and new journeys. Thank you so much. Have a good night.